I want to start this vlog with a confession. I sometimes struggle when faced with changes in my life. I get used to things going a certain way, and then when I'm forced to change, it causes me to be anxious and unsettled. Let me give you an example, and then we'll talk about some ways to cope with change. I work with an incredible team of caregivers who allow me to live an independent life. Naturally, there's been changes over time as a caregiver moves on to another job or school or family commitment, and I need to bring a new caregiver onto my team. In these last few months, I've had several caregivers had to leave or change their schedules, and I even welcomed back a caregiver who used to be on my team. Now, even though these changes were positive for the people involved, it still made me feel really anxious. How was I going to adjust to these new schedules? Would I still be able to get the assistance I needed? So there's a few things that I did to cope with this change and want to encourage you to do the same if you're experiencing change. First, I allowed myself to feel those feelings. I allowed myself to feel sad about the changes and for losing the caregivers that I loved. It's okay to be sad and it's okay to have those feelings. But then I decided to trust that whenever one door closes, another opens. And there's always going to be caregivers coming in and out of my life. And so I need to accept the fact that change is inevitable. And something always works out the way it's supposed to. So in other words, I decided to be hopeful about what good things could come of the change. By the way, here's something cool I learned about change. The Chinese word for change is made up of two symbols. One is the symbol for uncertainty, and the other is the symbol for opportunity. Every change is a mix of those two factors, uncertainty and opportunity. And as I started looking at the bright side of things, I also made a few lifestyle changes to help support the additional stress that comes with change. For example, getting enough sleep is always important, but especially when you're going through a time of stress or change. It's also critical that you get support from people around you. Doug has been my steady rock through these changes, which makes it easier for me to cope, adjust, and accept what's going on. Finally, be patient with timing and with yourself. Sometimes it takes time to adjust to change, and it doesn't happen overnight. Just keep trusting that when one door closes, another opens. And even though it feels like things aren't settling down, they will. It just takes time. And I've learned that over time. Hindsight, is 2020. To sum up things, I want you to remember four things when it comes to coping to change. Number one, it's okay to feel sad or anxious about change. Allow yourself to feel those feelings. Number two, look on the bright side of things. Every change is a mixture of uncertainty and opportunity. What good things are going to come out of this change? Asking yourself that. And number three, get support as you adjust to the change and make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And number four, be patient with yourself and with the time it takes to adjust. Thanks for tuning into this week's vlog. I look forward to reading your comments and messages.